Thank you, Umberto. My name is Demetrios Papathanasiou. I'm the World Bank's Global Director for Energy and the Extractives. And I wanted to thank you for inviting me here in Ankara. And I would like to bring you a little bit of a global perspective on what is happening in the energy world and how I think it fits very well with what is happening in Turkey. So just last week I was in Milan for the Global Energy Transition Conference. And what is certainly throughout everybody's mind is that climate change is really a crisis. It's getting worse every year. I think both here in Turkey you see in wildfires. I see it in my own country just next door. We have huge problems with wildfires every summer. And things are getting more and more difficult. On top of that, we have the problem of energy security. The wars that we have seen in Europe have really upended energy markets. Prices have gone up and they're not really coming down. So energy security remains a concern for everyone. Now the flip side of all of that is the opportunity. Is the opportunity of clean energy. And what we also see is a real commitment to increase clean energy investment around the world and increase clean energy production. Just last December at COP28, the world agreed to triple renewable energy and to double energy efficiency. And this is a target which is ambitious. It requires a lot of financing and requires a lot of coordination between the governments and the private sector. People say that the most difficult part of doing clean energy is the financing. And that is indeed a problem. Financing is a problem. But the way we think about it in the World Bank is we looked at what the world is spending today in the power generation for fuels. So we did the numbers and we found out that if you live outside China, because China is so big and it's a separate story by itself, and we calculated that every year, just for the power generation in fossil fuel, the developing world, apart from China, spends $500 billion in fuels. $500 billion. Almost half of that goes into coal. And another quarter, another third, goes into natural gas. And the rest is other sources. So we have $500 billion spent every year, year after year, literally burned into fossil fuels for power generation. And we need to get the world to invest annually about $2 to $3 trillion on renewable energy. Now, when you do the calculation, all we really need to do is take this recurring spending on fuels into servicing debt and servicing equity that goes for clean energy. And if you do the numbers actually are promising. If you want to raise, say, 5 trillion and you have a recurring spending of 500 billion, every banker will tell you that this is not a great deal, but it is not a bad deal either. It is actually very possible to do it. And if you look at the numbers, I know that Turkey is quite dependent on imports of fossil fuels. A lot of that goes into power generation as well. How do we do this change from, instead of spending for fuels, which are uncertain in the price, they have concerns about energy security, how do we turn it into spending for wind energy and solar energy, equity and debt service? This is the trick. And I think you have done great progress here. You have fantastic ambition. The targets are amazing that you have in Turkey. And the promise is cleaner air, energy security, and a better participation in the global effort for climate change. I think Turkey is really well placed into advancing things. This will bring jobs. This will bring investment not only in the power plants, but investment in the manufacturing that will make equipment that goes into clean energy. These are high-level jobs. Everything becomes more sophisticated because we have to take variable wind, variable sun, and see how we integrate it so that we can have the lights on all the time. How do we bring batteries in the system? How do we bring intelligence in the system? How do we bring more digital mechanisms in the system? So there's a lot of work to be done. I don't want to make it sound easy, but it is a great opportunity to move forward, to modernize, and to bring both energy security and a promise to deal with climate change in the world. So again, thank you very much for organizing this event with the World Bank and the government and the Ministry of Energy on how we can work together to advance the sector, to advance clean energy. Please look at us as a partner. We have been extremely active around the world in trying to see what works when we do clean energy, how to do batteries, how to bring more solar in the system, how do we work with transmission system operators so that they understand how they can incorporate more of this valuable energy in the system, and how can we do this faster, and how can we bring more financing in. It is a big challenge, but it is also a great, great opportunity. And again, I want to thank you for the partnership that we have here in Turkey on the energy sector. We have a great team that is based here in Ankara. Some of our best people in the World Bank are based here and are working in Turkey. And I'm really happy that we're here and looking forward to the progress. Thank you very much. And with this, I would like to invite Minister